I'll just keep talking. So you're from Houston. Is you're from Houston? All right. Well, that's being from Houston. What do you want me to do? Be like that? Okay. I'll try this, and I'll keep talking just to see. Then it starts to pop. Yeah. Yeah. If I have to be that close, there's something wrong. I can hold it. I just do not hold it, but I can. I mean, I tend to wonder, and if I have it in my hand, I really tend to wonder and throw it all over the place. Hi, Carol. Nice to meet you. Glad I figured that out. It was a little foggy for a while, mostly through Suddenly this area. After that, it wasn't bad. I don't know nearly enough that I have to work that out. So I got his son here and set out there doing it. Yeah.
Nothing. We're gonna try to go to lunch this week. She's had a prophetic dream that she wants to tell me about. Has some music for us to do in it. I'm always open to whatever spirit leads to her. Because it seems to always work out on a minute, half a minute. I just had the other round. I didn't bite it with my mouth. It was broke in my pocket. Oh, we'll see that. Wait.
So we'll just let you talk.
All right.
No, I'm
So
good. I
checking
just
in
need
to
pull
see
up
if
the
this
order
works
of
well.
service.
Is this right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is. Let me try one thing. On.
Check 1, 2, check 2.
So is this still all right here? A little bit further. Is this better? Yeah, okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. If I were addressing a crowd, I would be about this loud. I'm not even trying. Okay, Doris, do you hear me? So, really, talk. I'm not really trying, and everybody can hear me, correct? All right.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Good.
Sandra's so nice to meet you. Jerry, you're going to do the meditation after sermon. You just want me to play just some twinkle little notes or something. Yes, okay. 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 You're welcome. I'm Kim. I don't think I said it. Kim Colleen. Yes, so nice meeting you.
Because he's going to make it sound good. Yes, I will have to.
Just fine.
Can you hear me okay?
But so if I'm talking right here, and then I go over here like this, they don't hear you. But if I go like this, this. So just think. That's it.
Good morning. Good morning. Hello, hello. Oh gosh, it didn't take long. Y'all quieted down real quickly. Good for you. We are thankful for your presence and participation in our spiritual service. Unity is a blending of Christianity, science, and affirmative prayer based on the power of the mind. We are love-centered and all-inclusive. If you are a visitor here for the first time, we'd like to invite you to stand, if you're able, and introduce yourself. Anyone here for the first time? Oh, please. Well, thank you, thank you. So I guess we don't need you to pick up a welcome packet from the foyer. Okay. And we hope you'll visit again and make Unity Georgetown your spiritual home. Jill Cook is the prayer chaplain of the day. Jill. Our other prayer chaplains, Therese Finn, Judy Nisley, Ellen Warren, and Donna Sue Weaver, are available to pray with congregants throughout the week if you would like to contact one of them. Announcements from the board. Dolores Haley and Claudia Robinson have resigned from the board due to personal reasons and responsibilities. Thank you, Dolores and Claudia. We wish you all the best. We appreciate your contributions and your support of the church. We want you to know that the latest board meeting minutes through January 8th have been posted on the church website. They are under the About Us tab in the Operations section. We encourage you to take a moment to read through the updates and stay informed about what's happening in our church. Thank you for staying involved. Next Sunday is Birthday Sunday. If you're able to, we'd greatly appreciate 2 volunteers to bring cakes and share in the joy of the occasion. If you're interested, please notify Carol Neely or Paula Hatfield. And laughter?
All right. Well, I'm filling in for the jokes today, so feeling a little nervous about that. But I found a little story about two brothers who loved baseball, and they wondered if they could play the sport when they got to heaven. So they swore that whoever went to heaven first would find some way to let the living brother know. Well, the older brother passed a week later, and on the night he was buried, he reappeared at the foot of his brother's bed. "Is there baseball in heaven?" asked the younger brother. "Well, I've got good news and bad news." The older brother said, "The good news is that there is baseball in heaven." "That's great," said the brother. "What's the bad news?" "The bad news is that you're pitching on Sunday." I know it's a little morbid. So I'll do one more joke. So because this one is a little more bit more uplifting. I'll see if I can remember it. Okay, here we go. Two little boys were sitting together in a church during a wedding ceremony. As the couple said, "I do," one of the little boys leaned over to the other and asked, "I wonder how many wives a man can have." The second little boy looked at his friend like he was an idiot and said, "He can have 16 wives." "How do you know that?" the first little boy asked. He says, "Well, weren't you listening? The priest said 4 better, 4 worse, 4 richer, and 4 poorer." All right, so that's my jokes for the day. All right, and so we'll start with our song. I've got Peace Like.
Everybody mind standing for our opening congregation song?
Oops, I'm out of sound. No sound here. I need
Piano's
sound
not
on the
working.
piano.
Shall we just do it a cappella?
Well, I guess we could.
Here.
Did it come unplugged? It was working earlier.
It's working a second. You got the mute on?
There we go. All right.
I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul.
And now, as we begin this service with the ringing of the crystal bowl, let's unite our minds and our hearts in this beautiful, loving community As we worship together, we acknowledge the wisdom that will come from our speaker today. And as we go through this next week, being that light and love that we are meant to be.
Today's daily word is generous. Today's inspiration for the daily word comes from 2 Corinthians 9:6. The point is this: the one who sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and the one who sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. Keeping my heart open elevates my experience of generosity. If I give begrudgingly, fearful of not having enough for myself, I am not truly being generous. There is joy and trust in being generous. There is joy in knowing there is no lack at the level of spirit. And my generous impulses are my way of demonstrating my faith in this truth. I place my trust in the spiritual truth that as I give, I also receive. Generosity is a spiritual practice, a commitment to fully participating in the flow of life. As I give generously, I receive the richness of grace, love, and peace. I relax into the flow of synchronicity and receive unexpected blessings. Generosity is the gift I give myself. Please repeat the affirmation with me twice. I give with an open heart. I am generous. I give with an open heart. I am generous.
Good morning. For those among us who don't know me, I'm Jill Cook, and I will be your prayer chaplain today. There are other prayer chaplains here, and we welcome the opportunity whenever you desire. Also, the prayer chaplains invite you to take part in a daily vigil of prayer with the intention of healing and harmony for Unity Spiritual Center of Georgetown. We hold this intention every morning from 8 to 8:15 and an added time of 12 to 12:15 for those who find 8 a.m. a little too early. Please join your positive energy with us as we acknowledge together that only love prevails. Let us pray. Today we take time to reflect upon the many experiences and events of January 2025. These events can cause anxiety and stress. So let us close our eyes, take a deep breath, and connect to your divine guidance within. Outwardly, the times seem turbulent, so we will focus our attention on inner peace as we connect to our Christ presence and expand the light to shine forth and illuminate the path forward into our future. Settle into your chair, take a deep breath in, count to 4. Breathe out, counting to 4. Let's repeat the breathing. Breathe in, counting to 4. Breathe out, counting to 4. Now, bring these words into your heart. I no longer let my reaction to the conditions in my life be a guiding force. I'll repeat. I no longer let my reaction to the conditions in my life be a guiding force. Instead, I consciously use my intuition, my ability to choose a higher idea, and my wisdom to guide me. I have faith. Therefore, I know all is possible. As I look to the truth behind the conditions, my life view begins to change. I see reality differently, and I see my life blessings. Together, let us stand in love, peace, and hope for a bright future for all life in the world. Let us pray for peace and for kindness and love to fill the hearts of humankind. If there is a person or situation you want to pray for, then let's bring them into our circle of love and mention this person or situation either silently or aloud as we rest in quiet for a few moments. Let us close our time of prayer by remembering who we are. I am all that Divine Mind is expressing through me. As I express divine wisdom, all thoughts of limitation vanish and have no power over me. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. God bless you. Now, please join me in singing an ancient prayer that has been handed down through the ages, the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever.
All right.
All right, we got another congregation song. All right, everybody sing out like you mean.
I hear the music down in my soul. I hear the music
my soul. I hear the music down in my soul, and the whole wide world is my home. I love the silence down in my soul. I love the silence down in my soul. I love the silence down in my soul, and the whole wide world is my home. I feel the power down in my soul. I feel the power down in my soul. I feel the power down in my soul, and the whole wide world is my home. Oh, yes it is. And the whole wide world is my home. Nice.
Don't we have a wonderful music team? And Kim, your jokes are every bit as good as Dan's, so never fear. We don't need to tell him that, or maybe we should, I don't know. Okay. Our guest speaker is Reverend Sandra von Gillenband. With a ministry spanning more than 30 years, Sandra's spiritual journey began in 1974 when she attended her first Unity study group in the Virgin Islands. From that very moment, she fell in love with churches in Texas. Though she stepped away from full-time pulpit ministry a few years ago, Sandra's heart for service continues as she graciously shares her wisdom and warmth as a guest minister throughout South Texas and the scenic hill country where she now lives. Outside of ministry, her family is her greatest joy. She adores her grandchildren and great-grandchildren and delights in exploring the underwater world and scuba dives with her son. Ever the adventurer, Sandra travels to exotic destinations driven by her passion for art and creativity. A dedicated fiber artist and metalsmith, she pours love into every piece she crafts, celebrating the beauty of life and spirit in all she does. She could probably teach some classes in Sun City. Welcome, Reverend Sandra.
Good morning. What a wonderful thing to be here and to be with you on this nice and foggy day. Doesn't it make you feel kind of cuddled in and kind of surrounded by some wonderful energy? At least it does for me. Now, I said I wasn't going to do this, and I'm going to do this. All right, so that was interesting introduction. I do live in the hill country today, and I will live there for 14 more days. Then I'm moving to Carrollton, so I am so in the middle of life, totally. So we're going to talk today about a movie that I recently watched, and you too may have watched it. It is called Unstoppable. It is on Prime, and it is about a young man, Anthony Robles, who was born with one leg. And his passion in life was to wrestle. And he wanted to go specifically to Ohio State because they had the largest number of championships. And he was determined to do this. I am popping and making lots of little noises, aren't I? All right. So he wanted to do this. He strived to do this. He was very good at wrestling. And yet, people saw him as only having one leg. So he was challenged. He was challenged from the get-go. But he stuck with it. He had a turbulent home life, and yet he stuck with his wrestling. And he went out for the championship, and he failed. He didn't get it. He did not get accepted to Ohio State, where he wanted to go on a full ride. He didn't get accepted at all. He was accepted at another college, but he turned that down because of his home life and the need to stay at home to go to Arizona State. And they had a very small wrestling program, and he had to do walkout try-on because he hadn't done tryouts in the appropriate time. And it was brutal. I mean, I watched this going, how in the world could he have ever done this? How could he do it? And what he proved was what we all know is that nothing is impossible, because in the word impossible is the statement, I'm possible. And he took this on. He knew he could do what it was that he needed to do. So when he did not receive the championship, he just worked harder. He just worked harder. He said, I cannot give this up. I cannot give up who I think I've come to be. I cannot walk away from it. So he stuck with it. He tried harder, and he ended up winning the championship the next year. Now, what's this have to do with unity and unity principles? Where's the foundation of unity there? Well, I believe that this man lived the foundation of unity. He proved the teachings that we teach. He proved the principles that are laid out. And I bet every one of you can tell me the principles, right? I love to say that to people and watch them go, oh. So you probably do know that Unity was founded in 1889 by Charles and Myrtle Fillmore. It started in Kansas City, and it was Christian-based, although they looked at every world religion and took from all the world religions. Charles was quite a person of wanting to learn more and experience more. So there was that possibility of finding something somewhere, and he was very interested in finding out. So a few years later, his great-granddaughter, Connie Fillmore, was ordained and became president of Unity, which is now Unity Worldwide. And they asked her to summarize the teachings of unity. So she came up with the 5 principles of unity. She felt like this really encompassed the teachings, and most churches have now adopted this. Now, one of the things that Charles Fillmore affirmed often was there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. Y'all know that one? Let's affirm that together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. Doesn't that feel good? Yeah, omnipotent, all that. So Connie put together the 5 principles, the first one being that God is creator. God is the source of all things, is present everywhere. God is. The second principle is God's within each of us, inside you. Inside you. God is there, everywhere. God's in me, in you. And I love this one because, you know, there are those people that we may not like, and we don't have to like them. We don't have to like everybody in the world, but we can love the Christ in them. We can love the Christ within and look past the personality. So that one really works for me. in this world that we live in. The third principle is that we create our experience by the activity of our thinking. So what are you thinking about? And how is that affecting your life today? And so oftentimes we can experience life in a negative way because we see it in a negative way. And if we stop and we change our mind by the renewing of our mind, if we change our mind, we begin to see things differently. We begin to experience life with a much more positive experience of what is in front of us. And I love to look for the good in all that darkness. That kid that he and his brother were twins, and one of them was so positive, and the parents decided to give them a bunch of, how do I say that when I'm up here? a bunch of horse poop. And the little boy was so excited. And the parents went, "How can you be so happy over this?" And he said, "With this much horse poop, there's got to be a horse." So, we can find that beauty when we start looking for it. 4, we communicate, we connect, we experience life and the guidance of the divine through prayer and meditation. So when we get into our prayer and meditation, suddenly we have new ideas pop up, right? Or we suddenly give up that sense of hopelessness, knowing that I may not know the answer right now, but I know it's there. So it's a sense of connection with that divine. It's powerful to pray. It's powerful to contemplate and listen. And most of us like to do a lot of talking, right? I do. I talk a lot, obviously. But when we get silent and we listen for the guidance, it's amazing what will come up. And it may come up in that quiet time, but it also may come up I walk up to somebody and say something, they respond to me, and I go, "Oh, there's my answer." So we have to be aware of that principle and it being at work in our life. And of course, the 5th principle is that it is not enough to know the principles, agree with the principles, think about the principles. We must live them. We must live them. We must put them to work in our lives. So it's wonderful to think about them. But are you willing to practice your spirituality? And that's what unity is about, practical spirituality, right? We claim that, we say that. Unity is practical Christianity. So we must practice. We can't just let it be. We have to be a part of that. Now, one of the things that confused me in the beginning was how there was a creation of us in this world. And unity looks at it with a threefold piece, that we have mind, and that is God mind. And God mind thought us. God mind had an image, an idea. That's the second part. There was an idea. And the third was expression. Thus, here we are, living, expressing, and being. And so it is still with these 5 principles. They are put to work in this trifold. It's also called the Trinity, if we want to look at the Trinity and say, okay, we have mind, we have God mind, we have idea, we have the thought, and then we have expression. And those are not changeable. They just happen. They just are. So in those 5 principles, if we look at that, we see mind, and God is everything. That's in the mind, right? And then we have humans, and they have a spark of divinity. We have a spark of divinity within us. And that Christ's Spirit is within all of us. The essence of God, therefore, is inherently good. That makes us all good. Isn't that nice? The second idea is the human beings create their experience by the activity of their thinking. everything is manifest in the realm of thought. And then we have prayer. So we go to that place of prayer to get the guidance, the direction of creating that idea, and then we express it. And we express it with our lives, with our activities, with how we're living. And people say to me, that's just, I don't get it. I don't get the part about creating. Well, think of it this way. We have a thought, it comes into an idea, and then we express it. If I take all the chairs in this room and I destroy them, will chairs be gone? Will chairs cease to exist? No, because each one of you know what a chair looks like. You may not know how to build a chair, but I bet you know somebody that would know how to build a chair, right? I mean, chairs are pretty simple. So we always know that stuff if we allow ourselves to remember who we are and our Christness. Pacious Hasbrook, who is a Unity minister and wrote a number of books on affirmative prayer, says that my mind and the mind of God are one. My mind and the mind of God are one. Will you affirm that with me? My mind and the mind of God are one. Again, my mind and the mind of God are one. Does that feel powerful? Yeah. So if you are thinking thoughts that you don't like, change your mind. Just change your mind. And it's real possible. One of the things that I did in the beginning when I learned I could change my mind was I put music in my mind. I sang songs that were positive and uplifting. I sang Amazing Grace so many times I just can't even remember, but it kept me from ruminating on some of those negative thoughts that I had. It kept me out of the weeds. And at one point in my life, back when cassettes, y'all remember cassettes, right? When cassettes were in use a lot, I'd actually reach up and push my head like I was popping a cassette out and change it. It worked. So we have these divine ideas. We have the ability to think. We have the ability to change the patterns of our lives. So when our minds are centered on truth, the presence of God, the grace of God is active in me and speaking to me. And I become aware and awaken to divine patterns. Do you ever see divine patterns in your life? If you continue to pray and meditate, does your life become calmer and smoother? I don't know about y'all, I used to live a chaotic, hectic life. I mean, my life was just nuts. And I don't have that anymore because I don't choose to spend time in that neighborhood. I've changed it. So we have the opportunity to allow ourselves the choice of where we're going with our thoughts. It's one of our principles. It's one of our principles. So again, Anthony Robles demonstrated the principles. He believed in God. He believed in the good of others. He said his mother and God carried him to success. His mother and God carried him to success. He adored his siblings. And in the movie, it shows him just being so available to them. He believes that God made him the way he was so that he could overcome it and show us that he could overcome it. So he could prove that he could do it. Now, I don't know about you, but there have been some things in my life that I haven't liked. But with hindsight, I realize that they've made me a stronger person and allowed me to be where I am today. So sometimes we have to look for that good. He worked hard, and this is an important one. After he failed, he had worked very hard to get to the first championship. But after he failed that, I just realized y'all are on camera. After he failed that first championship, he realized that he had to work harder. And I really want to point that out because I know many of us think that if we don't do it, it must have been God's will for me to fail. Oh, well, I'll give up. Or I'll try, but I'm only going to try this much. He got out and he tried. He gave it everything. And I always want to point out that that's an important piece in our spiritual journey, is we can turn it all over to God. We can let God and let go. But we must do the footwork. What we're letting go of in that process is the results. You know, he could have won that championship. Oh, he did. But he could have also lost. So the outcome is what we turn over to God when we let go and let God. Although I like to say, let God and let go. Because I'm not very good at letting things go. But if I give it to God, I have to. So we have the opportunity to channel, to work through, to use the spiritual tools that we have. And we've been given many. And I'm sure every Sunday you get to hear about different spiritual tools. As I was putting this together, I was like, oh, I want to talk about this. Oh, I want to talk about that. I could be doing a series here. But we're going to just stop with God is creator, the source of all things, and is present everywhere. Humans are divine. We are spiritual beings created in God's image and inherently good. And it says in that book, you are all gods. Ye are all gods. Is that scary? Scary to me. Oh, my God. What does that mean? What am I responsible for? It's a big responsibility to realize this, right? To realize that we play a part in what our world looks like. But we do, which is a good thing. So thoughts create experiences. It's not that we create that we're the only person. If somebody does something to you that's inappropriate, incorrect, it's not that you drew it to you, which is frequently a saying in unity. It's that it's happened, and what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with what's happened? Don't be the victim. Step up and find a new way. Step up and find a new way. I talked to oh goodness, this was years ago. I was talking to one of my educators, and I said, you know, I have an illness, and I've had it since I was young, and people say, what do you do to create that in your life? And I don't understand. And she said, this is what you do when people say that to you. You walk over and you stomp on their foot. And you say, what did you do to draw that into your life? Yeah, so, you know, it is. And now the question is, what am I going to do with it? Am I going to let it wipe me out, run me over, take me out, or am I going to come above? And I think we all have the ability to lift ourselves above. So we have this this prayer, a very powerful tool. We have meditation. We can contemplate on things, and we can bring about healing and wisdom and prosperity. We can participate fully. And in doing that, we can experience it. We can live the truth. We can understand the spiritual principles and see them active in our lives. And that's what we are given. And that's what this young man showed us from the beginning of this film to the very end. Now today, this young man is a motivational speaker. He has been a coach at the high school that he was in, and he goes around making a difference. So my question to you today is, what do you want to do? What do you want to bring into manifestation? What's working for you and what's not? Is there something that you're willing to change? Is there something that you recognize as a principle that you haven't been working with, or one that you have been working with but struggling with. And if you are, I invite you to relax on that. You don't need to struggle. Just breathe. Just breathe and let it be. So, our 5 principles. Now I'm going to shorten them down. God is. I am. I think it. I pray it. I live it. Which can turn into a 5-finger prayer for. So let's do this. God is. I am. I think it. I pray it. And I live it. And so we can move forward with that energy and that knowing. And let this be the first day of a new foundation of your spiritual truth and your unity principles. Put it into play. Enjoy it. And find the truth and the joy of life. God bless you and namaste. So now I believe it's time for us to do just that wonderful thing of praying and meditating. So I invite you to breathe. To breathe in that space, into that space. Go deep within to that altar of the Most High that is within you, within your heart. The altar where you kneel and pray, where you give thanks. You give thanks for the wonderful opportunity you have to live, to create, to be. Think about the generosity that is in your life and just say, thank you. The generosity of people that you know that come into your life, that you meet in stores. Say thank you. And be aware of your body and all the places that might be a little out of tune, and breathe into there and say thank you. Thank you for reminding me that I live in this holy temple called a body. Thank you for the challenges I meet. I say thank you. Allow yourself to say thank you. And if you have a question, something on your heart, an area that you're looking for direction, ask that question. Ask for guidance. And then listen. Listen. Allow your heart to relax. Allow your body to relax. Breathe in that breath of life. And as we come out of this time and space, allow yourself to look around the room and see the eyes of God in all those that are in this room. Meet the Christ within. Amen. Some special music by Kim.
Yes. The song is called Let the Change Begin Within. And you'll hear the chorus many times. And at the end, I would love for you to join me if you hear it and want to join. We cannot change the world we see. To change begins in you and me. We change the world around us when the change begins within. So let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin within. So let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin within. The lesson from the willow tree is strength and flexibility. When nothing seems to go my way, it's time to learn to sway. So let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin within. So let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin within. Oh, patiently, courageously, be the change you wish to see. So let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin within. So it's really easy. Here we go. Let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin within. Let's try it one more time. So let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin within.
If I worked on it, I would not have been able to come up with a better song. Thank you. You were so good.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. I'm going to continue to hold it. There's just some things aren't worth trying to fight over, right? That's called wisdom. Wisdom of getting a little older. All right. And so now we have an opportunity to bless our tithes and our offerings. And what a wonderful opportunity to share your gifts. I know that many of you give of your time and talents, and I thank you for that. For that is certainly necessary and certainly a gift. We appreciate that. And now if you will take your offering into your gifts and your offerings into your hands as we bless them. Read with me. Blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, and I trust God. Amen.
Everything I do is blessed by your hand, God. I'll give it back to you. Everything I give, every thought that's true is magnified in kind God. I'll give it back to you.
And so we do give thanks for these gifts that have been given with love. We give thanks for the people that have yet to discover Unity of Georgetown that are on their way. We give thanks for the young people that desire a place to come. We give thanks for the abundance in the universe expressing here. And so it is. Amen. We bless and dedicate these tithes and offerings as an expression of divine love, and we release them to manifest love in our community and our world. Thank you. We, to the children, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are. And thanks to our volunteers. And now we have our peace song and our gathering together. Again, thank you for allowing me to be here. I love you.